into your car and blare music on your way to work? Is it sad? Is it happy? Is it metal? And what is that doing to your brain? Well, hang with us. We're going to find out why. Hey guys, welcome to What the What with Sam. I'm Sam. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We're going to find out why music makes us happy or sad or angry or whatever emotion we're trying to deal with, and why we play different music at different times, and is that really helping us? Well, let me start off by saying that different music, it all comes down to frequencies, guys. And this is the same thing I said in my vibrations video. I can link that below if you'd like to watch it. Excellent. Always trying to keep your vibe up. But our purpose here on Earth is trying to raise our vibration, raise our consciousness, raise our vibration, raise our consciousness, and keep that loop. Okay? Because that's how we evolve our souls. And that's what we're here to do. That's why we're on Earth, is to make sure that we are getting that education for our souls. Okay? And we'll get into a whole other video. I do have one coming up about how our souls help each other evolve and keep the vibration up and keep the consciousness going, and helps to loop that. But today, let's just focus on the music. Now, music can be a very powerful thing. If you're like me, I'm not a very emotional person, but I will say this, even something as silly as The Masked Singer, or a little kid singing on any one of the numerous singing shows, they can really get to me. I can feel what they're trying to put out there. Sometimes I want to cry, and that's so not me. Why does it do that? Well, there's been tons of studies, right, to show what happens to our brains when we listen to different kinds of music. And it's rather interesting. And I'm going to put some links in below of some of the studies that really famous institutions have put together, like Johns Hopkins has one. Absolutely good. But just so I can break this down to you so you don't have to read these pages and pages and pages of reports, because otherwise, why would you have clicked on this video instead of just going and finding the documents, right? It's basically saying that different parts of your brain are stimulated with different types of music. And it all comes down to frequencies, because that's what music is. And good songs, really good songs that really hit home and are topping the charts and stuff, kind of stay within one little frequency. And so our bodies adjust to that, because that's what we're hearing. And so our bodies are going either up here or down here or up here. And it gives us different thoughts, just like meditation does with frequencies. So if you want to meditate with a frequency of, 396, but you're trying to get to your pineal gland, that's nowhere near. So your mood is going to be different. Your thoughts are going to be different. That's why I haven't done a few videos in a while, is because I've been putting some meditation videos for you together so that you can try this out and experience the different types of thoughts you have during your meditation with each different frequency. I'd love to hear what you guys experience. Mine, because I typically do go all over the place now that I've gotten into it. I would like to see if any of you out there that are just starting off in this, start at the root, get onto that frequency for a little bit, and once you're able to clear your mind real easy, go into the next chakra. And the first few are just 20 minutes long. But leave me some comments. Tell me what you're seeing. Tell me how it makes you feel just after 20 minutes. And there's some longer ones on there. I even put one for 8 hours if you want to do one overnight, once you get a little more comfortable with it. But music does the same thing, is my point. Okay? And there's several different genres, right? There's, country music is supposed to make you feel happy. I always thought it was the opposite of that. Everybody's like, oh, it's a sad country song, it just makes you all depressed and makes you want to cry. According to studies, it actually makes you happy. Go figure. And, I always thought that metal music would make me depressed, like would make me angry, because it just sounds like it's angry, angry, angry. But some of the metal, some of the rock and stuff, like it gets you upbeat, it gets you going, even if it's about something sad. It's not about the words so much as it is the frequency that we are listening to. Now, grunge music, which I grew up on grunge. Okay, I grew up in that era where grunge was the thing. That stuff could actually make you, according to these tests that have been done, can actually make you a little hostile. Well, no wonder we were all angry in our teens, right, guys? And rap can actually help fight depression. I mean, I'm not big into rap unless it's Eminem. I mean, who doesn't love him? But I'm not a big rap person. I love old school rap, like the Snoop Dogg in the old days, and yeah, that stuff, absolutely. But the new stuff I can't get into. But I mean, actually helps with depression. Who would have thought for a second, right? Okay, so pushing forward, I want to talk a little bit about the testing that Johns Hopkins University did. And so they proved through MRIs. And if you've never had an MRI done, just thank God. And so Johns Hopkins decides that they're going to do this thing with music and memory. And it's a really interesting study. I do have that. I will link that below. Very, very interesting how the brain, when it is subject to certain different kinds of music, and I don't know, maybe this might be something that needs to be thought on for dementia and Alzheimer's patients. It really kind of gets me thinking. It's doing something neurologically to the brain. And I just find that fascinating that just music can make your memory better. So if you have somebody that has issues with memory issues, maybe all you need to do is play them the right music. And like I said, I will link that study below, and you can read all up on it. I mean, I took the time to kind of, because I am taking care of my stepmother, and she's got the early stages of dementia. And I think it's fascinating. I really want to try some of these with her. But let me know if you have somebody in your family or a friend or something that's suffering with this illness or related illnesses due to memory loss. Let me know if any of it works. I mean, that's what we're about. What the what? We're trying to find out what the what is going on with these, and if there's really any facts behind it, which, I mean, Johns Hopkins, that was a really tough one for me to say. Johns Hopkins, very credible source. They're one of the nation's leaders in research, so check it out. Now, Harvard has done a test and says 69, and I don't want to hear the comments on that one, 69% of people that attend music performances had better brain health and were more happy. Now, I don't know how you do that study, but I will link that test below too. I found that very fascinating. Live music does something different. And I can tell you, as somebody who has Meniere's and vertigo and all of that, being at a live concert is much different for me than it is to sit and listen to even loud music. in my home or in a car. It does it vibrates all those things in my head, and I can't do it anymore. But you know, there's a reason why people love going to performances. They feel something. They feel the energy of the people around them. They feel the energy of the music. And not just like mosh pits and all that kind of stuff, guys. You can do the orchestra or opera, and it would still have effects on you. So very, very interesting stuff there. So the UAGC says that music can affect immune system, premature birth, Parkinson's disease, and depression. Now, I find this very interesting, especially with the premature births. And that has to do with the fact that I ran a daycare years and years and years ago when my children were little. And it was, I mean, it had one of the highest credentials in the nation. It was accredited by the National Association for the Education of Young Children. And in order to help run that daycare, I had to take classes. And they were college classes. I was able to choose which ones I wanted to do. And I took one on early childhood brain development because we had a couple of special needs children within our daycare. And I also thought it might just be interesting because I have a history of mental retardation in our family. And so I really am interested in the premature births and what that does to help prevent. I don't understand all the science of it. If somebody reads that and understands the science of that, I would love to understand what they're putting down in that study. It was very kind of difficult to read. I really wish they would have kind of dumbed it down a little bit for me. But I love that they're able to do that. I mean, it's so important to build those bridges, and it's just music. Different kinds of music are building those bridges from right brain to left brain kinetically, and they're creating smarter kids and helping prevent premature births. I mean, think of all of the women out there. I have a goddaughter that had a premature baby, and I mean, she was just stressed the entire time. You know, here's this poor innocent little child in an incubator for 2 months, and all she could do was just watch. You know, you can't really handle them a lot, and you have to wear all this special stuff. If premature births were cut down due to music, something as simple as music, wouldn't that make life just so much better? So much easier. Now we're going to talk about how your music affects vibrations. And I talked about this a little bit earlier, but it really does. So, and I would love to hear what you guys do, because I don't listen to every kind of music out there. I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. But you know, it kind of varies. You kind of get stuck on something for a while and this and that and whatever. But if you're meditating and you're listening to music, and not like a meditation video like what I've got up on the page, but just regular music, because you can do that, and just see how you're feeling, and then change the music and go back in and see how that makes you feel. There is a difference, guys. You can feel how it's bringing you up, bringing you down, and kind of giving you these waves. It's really, really cool. So what I suggest, because music does affect us, obviously there's been studies and tests done, you know, instead of getting in your car and if you're feeling depressed, putting a bunch of depressing music on, or going in your room and doing that, you know, there is a time and a place for that. Like, sometimes you just need to get it out, right? And because it's hard for me to cry, sometimes I need that extra motivation just to kind of get it out, you know? So, okay, fine. But once it's done and over, switch to something else so that those vibrations come back up. You know what I mean? And Also, like if you're going into work and you know that you're going to be stressed that day or whatever, go into work with some power ballad or something that's going to make you scream it all out before you get there, you know? And really use your vibrations to make you better throughout the day. And that way you're not dipping as much. If it's really hard for you to keep control of where your vibe is, I suggest doing this. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to work in a place where I could have earphones in while going through my divorce. And that was so therapeutic because in my head, I'm either, you know, trying to mellow myself out because I just was in an argument, or I'm trying to psych myself up before I end up going and seeing my ex-husband and knowing that it's gonna go south really quick. So before I would go, I would pump myself up and make myself feel good, and that way it didn't affect me the same. It really didn't. So if you have people in your life that are draining you or, you know, taking parts of you, you know, that's a good way to do it. Music is so powerful, and it just takes a few minutes of that vibration, that frequency, to get your mood shifted. You know, whether it's depression that you need to work through, if you're going to be depressed, right? If you're trying to fix that, you can't play a bunch of depressing music because it's going to keep those vibrations down. And the only way to get out of that depression, and I know this because I've been there, guys. My kids have been there. My friends have been there. My family has been there. Who doesn't know somebody with depression? And, you know, what are they doing? They close themselves off from people and they're playing pitiful music and stuff that's keeping them down. And then they wonder why they're not getting any better just because they're on antidepressants. Go outside, get some vitamin D. Do some exercise. I know that sounds stupid. I do. I mean, like, padded walls. I get it. Okay? But you can change it. You don't have to live that way. And music is so powerful and so inspiring. It can change how you feel. So I want to hear from you guys. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I will put those links below. And you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for visiting us here on What the What.